What's up? I know my phone. I should start bringing some alcohol with me so I can start wiping the screen. But as always, I'm gonna turn the camera the other way. So, I haven't listened to any music for the past maybe 3 hours. Now, I once made a video on this channel explaining how music is an utter waste of time, and it is. Well, if you are in a car accident like me, don't listen to music, loud music. If you do, play your own music like me, or listen to one song a day. Like, I'm gonna really love to tell my story when I'm done college one day of how I graduated in spite of being in a life-changing injury. I was in a pretty nasty accident, and it changed my life. But let's talk about the other part of my, neurological challenges. So, my cognitive challenges. So, the way my brain functions after the accident, it's like everything is times two. Everything that I've always, everything that has sort of interfered with my life, mostly through like making money, jobs, education, etc. It's sort of intensive. It's like it's times two. Anyway, when we talk about jobs, if you have a child who is like me, and I want to just put the title, I want to put what I'm talking about in the title, so I may even put quotations so you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you have any children that are like me and it's detected early, do what you can to not have them as sheltered. Don't baby them. Don't listen when I say this. Take it from me. If you're loaded with cash, if you have a lot of money, don't find them when they get my age a life coach, a job coach, a assistant, an aide, because they do hardly anything that they say they're going to do. I remember when I was working at BJ's, and it was this guy. He didn't really say what he was, but you could kind of tell. And all he just told me that he was really bad at math. But he had somebody that was supposed to look after him, like make sure he did his job, like a babysitter. And all this guy would do he would just play on his phone in his car and eat Dunkin' Donuts and sit down. And I see that a lot with people that have like life or job coaches, and they require they need accommodations in jobs because of their disability. I see a lot of people like that, and their assistants, their job coaches they're not really doing anything. But you want to be sensitive on how you speak to your child, but when they get my age, make sure they learn how to fend for themselves. Make sure they learn how to hold down a job. Make sure they get the right jobs. And do what you can, and I don't care who gets offended by this, do what you can to make sure if they have a job, stress to them the importance of not working around felons. Because felons I've said before that consideration for people only exists amongst those that have careers. Like when you have a job, you're not really considerate of others. So I think like ex-cons, they just work, menial jobs. They're the most least considerate people. But do what you can not to work around felons, because I'm going to tell you from experience, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. But don't baby your child, because when you're gone, who are they going to rely on when you're gone? They got to rely only on them. They got to learn how to keep a job, hold down a job. They got to learn how to perform the task correctly so they can secure employment. But do not provide your child that's like me with an aide, an assistant, a job coach, a life coach. Just from my experience, I feel like they really don't do anything extraordinary. A lot of these, it's like a CNA, like a home health care aide for your father with dementia. It seems like they don't do anything. And I have a video on my channel talking about that. The most messed up thing I was about to say, I saw all these kids walking outside of a bank, and it looked like they were just withdrawing money. But I was like, they're about to rob the bank, but that's not what they were doing.